In this video, we are talking about the Geometry Arizona Merit question 14. And have that paper in front of you, if you will. So this is the question, basically. It's telling you that you have, well, let me show it to you this way first. It says, Michaela is using the following information to prove that these two angles are complementary angles in the diagram. Now, complementary, of course, if you don't know what complementary is, you won't be able to do this problem. Complementary means 90 degrees. Okay, so they're saying that two angles, when you put them together, they're going to equal 90 degrees. Then they're giving you this two-column proof, the statements and the reasons. And you're supposed to find number 4 and number 5, those two. And the questions, the answers are down here that you're going to put in. All right, so here's what we're given. I kind of drew it out bigger so you can see it a little bit better, I think. We're given this these two angles. Here's this red angle, shall we say this way, and this angle this way. And they're asking you to prove that TUS and now there's TUS, this one and this one, let's see, PUQ are 90 degrees. Now, I kind of drew this out and I put the dotted line here because it tells us that this line bisects this angle and it tells us that this line bisects this angle. Well, look what happens, guys, if I kind of push this around sideways. Now, I didn't do this perfectly, but you can just kind of tell by looking that this green angle is a 90-degree angle. All right, you can see that. All right, so remember, if you have a straight line, it's going to equal 180 degrees, right? So if I have any angle, it doesn't matter how big it is. Let's say I have a big angle like this, plus I have an angle like this. Well, when I add them together, they're going to equal 180, right? They have to equal that. What if I cut this in half and I cut this in half? And I say half of this big deal and half of this big deal, how much will that equal? It has to be 90, right? Because 90 plus 90 is 180. All right, so let's look at these answers real quick. So it says 2 times measure TUS, two of these guys equals 2 times the measure of PUQ. Well, no, that's not right. Do you see how that's not right? All right, so if that's not right, we don't even have to look at any of it. We can go on to the next one. Do you know what I mean? Look at the next question, number 4. 2 times the measure of TUS, 2 times the measure of this guy, equals 2 times the measure of PUQ. PUQ. Well, no, it doesn't. So we can go on to the next one. We can cross that right off. Number 3, 2 times the measure of TUS, same thing, 2 times the measure of that, plus 2 times the measure of PUQ equals 180. Well, that's probably true, so let's put a yes there. That's true. Now let's go on to the next one. The measure of TUS, this measure equals the measure of PUQ. No, it doesn't. This has to be less than that. So that's another no. All right, so that whole thing has to be no. All right, now 2 times the measure of TUS. 2 times this guy, 2 of these guys, plus, well, by the way, what's 2 of these guys? Isn't it this? Right? Plus 2 of PUQ. PUQ, 2 of these guys, which is that, has to equal 180. Well, yes, it does. We've decided that all the way in the beginning. Then the measure of TUQ, or TUS, I'm sorry, plus the measure of PUQ has to equal 90, and that's correct. So your answer is the last one, and it's you're putting in substitution and the division property. You're putting in those 2 things. Okay?